Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much once again for joining me for tea time. Today we have some fireside. That smokiness to the fireside is so good. It's afternoon right now. I really like fireside in the afternoon. If you haven't picked up any of my teas, go check them out over at darkmoonteas.com, or you can pick them up at my website, JCristina.com. So today we're going to be talking about Sony. The A7S III. That's just a mock-up, but that's what it'll look like, supposedly, guys, supposedly. The premise behind this video is, will Sony actually release the A7S III, or will they not? And if they do, will it change a lot to a point that it won't be an A7S III any longer? And finally, will it be worth the wait? We're at over 5 years now, guys, from the A7S II. Getting close to 6 years, I think it is in September. Is it going to be worth the wait? Is it just too little, too late? We're going to get into it a little bit. I want to hear your thoughts on it. I'm going to give you mine. So, before I get into it, if you haven't picked up my ebook, go over to jcristina.com/ebook and pick up that ebook. It's free. 10 tips at making sharper images. It's awesome. Great for amateurs as well as professionals. There's something in there for everyone. Once again, pick it up over at jcristina.com/ebook. Check it out. Anyways, if you guys don't know, the Sony A7S line has always been a video camera, whereas their R line, okay, was always a photo camera. And there's always a discrepancy in the size of the sensor for this reason. So the A7S and the A7S II have always been 12 megapixels, whereas the Rs are like 40 plus megapixels, all right? But the S is what we're talking about here, that video camera that was 12 megapixels, and then the next revision, 12 megapixels. Why is that? Because it just does a bang-up job when it comes to low light. There's little to no noise. Well, you have only 12 megapixels to work with, so it was just easier for Sony to be able to do it, and they were one of the first to be able to do 4K internal to the camera, and they did it well. All right. Now, while in the past I've always said that the predecessor to the A7S II was going to be an absolute video beast, it was going to take the market by storm, and today I'm just not sure about that. I am not sure about that. And I'm going to get into a couple of reasons why I'm not sure if it's going to really happen, guys. You tell me what you think. So number one, we see that in the past, we've always found a 12 megapixel sensor in their S line. Now, we know going forward, they really can't do that. If they stuck with a 12 megapixel sensor, they can only go up to 4K, and that's pretty much it. They need 24 megapixels if they want to be able to get into 6K, and they need at least 42 megapixels if they want to be able to hit that magic 8K number. So, the problem with it is if they went 8K, they're going to literally be stepping on the heels of their R line, right? So now all of a sudden you have an S line that is notorious for having a smaller sensor with a massive sensor in there. Well, why have an A7R at that point? Okay, so that will be problematic for them. Also, I do think that if they stuck with 4K, let's say, even though 4K is pretty much what is being used currently, I don't think that it's going to be relevant anymore in 5 or 6 years. It's just simply not. Why do I say that? We have the Canon EOS R5 that's right around the corner that is doing 4K at 120 frames per second, and it's even doing 8K at 30 frames per second. So that's not going to work out, right guys? That's not going to work out. Now, on the other hand, if they ended up going 6K, but then maxing out that 6K by shooting, let's say 6K RAW at 422 internal with that 24 megapixel sensor, we're getting there. But remember, it might be fantastic then, but it might be short-lived because of that Canon. All right. So even though you're going to be giving, let's say, a really great 6K RAW 422, which is fantastic, you'll definitely have to kick it up to 60 frames per second at that 6K. If not, people are going to be like, what are you doing? All right. And your 4K needs to be at least 120 to match Canon, or even 240 for super slow-mo to really make sense and get a little bit of longevity to it. I just don't think that it'll be enough considering where Canon is today, or let's say this month, and where they will be in 5 years. Because we know that the last camera, the last S series cameras, was 5 years ago. So if they kept on that same path, they need to build something that is going to be future-proof. The problem is how do you do it? How do you do it, guys? And don't forget that if they did create something similar to this, you're going to get close to stepping on the heels, not of the A7R line, but now the A9 line. And that really wouldn't be good either, because they're going to need to sell this at probably $3,400 or more. Okay? It's going to be very difficult for them to shoehorn this camera in there. I feel like they're at a quagmire here. You know, it's like damned if they do, damned if they don't. Is it just too little too late? Or how are they going to make this work? Now, one of the things that I was thinking about when I was going through this in my head was, how about if they just don't release an A7S III at all? They just don't release it. And instead, they release like an A9S or something similar to that. And now take that, all of that you're going to release in an A7S III, stick it into an A9 body, A9S, let's call it. And now what that will give you is a means of not stepping on your flagship, all right? Because now it will be a video portion of your flagship, number one. But number two, you will now have a larger body to help dissipate the crazy amount of heat that you're going to be generating at 120 frames per second, 240 frames per second, 422 RAW, 6K, 8K, whatever you're going to be doing. Let's say if you stick with 6K and do a 24 megapixel sensor, but still you're shooting RAW, 422, 120 frames per second, let's say, at 6K. It generates a ton of heat. If there's nothing in it to cool it, there's no internal fan, like a C series and a Canon or something like that, it's going to be very hard to dissipate that heat in a very small couple of, let's call it, cigarette boxes. It's just difficult to do. So moving into an A9 body that's going to be a little bit bigger might give them the ability to create that S3 and kind of not step on anyone's heels. So coming full circle, we know that a representative over at Sony has said that they were definitely going to announce this month, before the end of this month, the successor to the Sony A7S II. But is it really going to be a Sony A7S III? I don't know. And if it is, how are they not going to step on the R series? And how are they not going to step on the A9 series? How are they going to do it? Are they going to use a 12 megapixel sensor that's literally 10 years old? Or are they going to move up to 24 megapixels and now move from 4K into 6K? Or are they going to bump this thing up to 42 plus megapixels so that they can actually do 8K? What are they going to do? Remember, the S line has always been a video beast, but most importantly, it does an amazing job at dynamic range and low light, right? There's almost next to no noise. And that's what it's famous for. If you get too big of a sensor in there and don't crop in and don't do anything with it, you're going to end up with noise. That's just the way it is. All right. So what can Sony do here? I gave you my idea on what they can do, but I don't know. I'm right, I'm wrong, I don't know. I want to hear from you. I want to know your thoughts. What do you think? How will they execute this? 12 megapixels, 24 megapixels, 42 plus megapixels, 4K, 6K, 8K. Where are they going to go with it? And are they going to stick with that A7S body, or are they going to move the entire thing into a new platform, into their flagship machine, their flagship body, into an A9. What they call it, I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyways, if you enjoyed this content, as always, please give it a big thumbs up. That would be stellar. And also, don't forget to subscribe by smashing that subscribe button so you can get all my content when it becomes available, and click the bell icon right about here so when it is available, you will be notified of it. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That would be absolutely awesome. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.